6 years of experience in automation testing. I have used several tools such as Selenium with Java, and I also worked with Cypress with JavaScript, and also Playwright with JavaScript. And I've also worked on API testing with Rest Assured. And yeah, and initially when I joined the company, I've also performed like some of the manual testing. Yeah, that's about it. I'm working in an organization called Happiest Minds. It's a service-based company. So yeah, like it deals with all the domains basically, like banking, insurance, basically all the domains. I worked on banking and insurance. Sure.
Okay, fine. So now, what kind of framework you are currently using in your project automation side?
I'm using hybrid framework,
Mm-hmm.
which has like a combination of data-driven and like hybrid framework, where we are using page object model.
Okay,
And
okay.
yeah, like you want me to explain the framework?
Sorry, please repeat again.
Like you want me to explain the framework?
Yeah, please, you can.
Okay, so yeah, like we are using like hybrid framework, and we are driving the data from the Excel file as well as properties file. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, properties file like we are using to drive the data such as like username, password, and the URLs. And the test for the test data, we are using Excel sheets to drive the data, doing send keys, so that we can avoid the flakiness. And we have created functions like and even for the click. So like there is a separate function called stop this service, like we are planning to migrate the report, but as of now we extend report. And
Okay,
yeah.
okay, fine. So I understood your framework. Then you are using the basically POM object,
Yeah.
page object
Yeah,
framework,
page
and
object model.
you are, functionality wise, you are creating the functions and implementing accordingly that way.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
okay, fine. So please, do you have idea how to take a screenshot and how to save in your drive or any particular folder? So what kind of function
Yeah.
we will use and how to implement in the Selenium?
Okay, for that we can use get screenshot as. So basically, we have to like make it take screenshot, then dot get screenshot as, and then output type we can make it as a file or even as a byte. So if we take it as a output type as file, and then we
Mm-hmm.
have to save that. Save that file. So we can use we can store that in a particular string, like we can create a string called string src, and then we can store that screenshot in that source. And also we need to create one more string called target, and there we have to mention the path, like where we have to save that screenshot. And then we can mention like source dot rename to, and then the target.
Okay,
And
that
we can also implement this we can use the interface uh, test listener, and also we can implement this so that like whenever the test case fails, it can be automatically linked in the report with the help of test listeners.
okay. Okay, so there are so many functions we can use to implement test screenshot for output perspective, but which
Okay.
one you will prefer? Like one of the, like we can declare the source file screenshot dot get screenshot as output file dot file. This one is also fine, or
Yeah. Yeah, like basically we use the file. So what happens if we use the file is like it'll create we have to create a folder and maintain all the screenshot with the timestamp. If we don't want that, then like we can use it as byte so that it will be stored in an byte, and if we integrate that with an report, then that screenshot will not be visible, but the file size of the report will be high since it will also have that screenshot inside the report. But we usually use file.
Okay, okay, got it. In that case, you can, sometime interview ask that kind of question, so you can explain directly with the functions which you function that function you
Okay.
will use in the framework. That's a good way.
Okay.
Okay, okay, fine. Then second question is, how we can, if you want to perform double click in the Selenium, so how you, what the function and how you will implement in your framework.
Okay, for that, like we have to use actions
Mm-hmm.
class.
Correct.
Like we can use like actions a equal to new action, and then we have to pass driver to it, and then we can call it like action dot double click.
Correct.
And if you want to like right click, we can use context click. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And do you know how many type of locators, and which one is the best locator to use frequently in while the creating XPath?
Yeah. So we have different types of locators such as ID class link text, partial link text, and then XPath and CSS selector.
Hmm.
So the best one will be ID. Most of the time, like if you don't have ID, then you can go with CSS selector, since the CSS selector is like faster compared to XPath. Like if our XPath is complex, then we can go with like XPath. So the hierarchy is like first we'll check the ID. If it is not available, then like we go with the CSS selector and then the XPath.
Okay, so that means you are saying CSS is the faster on a
Yeah,
left of
CSS is
the.
faster compared to XPath.
Okay. So another question is, what is the different way to refresh the browser using Selenium?
It is like we can use driver dot manage dot refresh,
Hmm.
and I think that is the only way you can refresh.
Okay. There are so many ways we can refresh the browser. That is also fine, which you have said, like we can navigate the manage dot URL, which and directly navigate to refresh. We can use navigate dot refresh
Yeah.
directly. That one is also fine. There are so many ways we can refresh. I will let you in a mail.
Okay.
Okay. Next question is, we will going with the questions, coding question, very simple coding questions.
Okay.
I'm sharing you in chat. Let me a moment.
Okay. 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 So like three programs, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. First one is okay.
Need to I have explained, or you are able
Uh, y-
to?
yeah, I can explain. So basically, here I'm using regular expressions. So here,
Hmm.
it's extracting like alphabets. Like I'll just ignore for others. I'll just replace with blank, and then I'll just extract the alphabets. So if I use like this, like I think it's called caret. So if we use that, then it'll ignore the other things and it'll only give us the alphabets. So this is our required output.
Yeah,
So this
good.
is first one, and second one is okay. To find the occurrence, we can use hash map.
Hmm.
So first, I'll create an hash map where key will be the character and value will be integer. Then I'll create a for loop so that I can iterate through the string. So for it, this done as dot of I. And here, so once I'm iterating, I'll just add the character to the hash map.
Hmm.
So it is s dot character I. So the key will be the character, and then will be so there is a function with hash map. It says get dot default. Here I'll be adding the I and the default value is 0, and then I'll say +1. So, so whenever there is an alphabet with same occurrence, it will increment the I value. So print this. Okay, this should be the length. Okay, be okay, default should be a start character. Yes, so this is the C is 2, B is 3, C is okay. So this is done. And the third one, how first three character. So here the same loop, then create one string, and we can stop if starts from two. Okay, this is a first three character.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay, let's move ahead.
Okay.
Let me moment. Uh, do you have idea about the TestNG annotations?
Yeah.
So
So yeah, yeah,
frequently
go on.
which we used. Tell me. No.
Okay, so we use before suit where we'll initialize the reports and
Mm-hmm.
also the drivers,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll use at uh, before test. So before test, we will use it to like initialize the URL. So there we'll get the URL from the properties file,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll give the URL to the driver.get,
Mm-hmm.
and then at test where we'll have all our test, and then after test we can use like to close our drivers, like to close our browsers, and then like if there is any database connection which we have opened, and also like before test we can also use it to like open like the database connection, and after suit we can use it to like flush all the reports, and also to close, I think, yeah, like to quit all the drivers as well.
Okay. Fine. And what about the listener? Do you have idea about the listener in Selenium?
Yes, so in Selenium we have something called iTest listeners, where it has separate listeners like iTest pass and iTest pass, iTest fail, iTest success. So basically, it is used to like override the current behavior. Suppose we want to like attach the screenshot whenever that test gets failed. So then we can use iTest listener, and then like in the iTest fail, like we can write a code so it can take the screenshot, and it can also like attach to the report. So it can we can save the screenshot somewhere, and then like we can have a separate code like to attach those screenshot to our reports.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. So another one question is like little bit logical if you have idea. So in a framework,
Yeah.
suppose you have a 100 pages. So do you have a create 100 page object for that? Let's suppose you have in your application 100 pages. So you will create 100 page for that, or how you will implement in that case scenario?
No, we don't create 100 pages. It will be hard to maintain. So, suppose like if there are like if there is a page where we have like very less elements, or like only we are interacting with like one or two elements, like we can combine that with like very like relative page, so that like it can be minimized. So, like creating 100 pages like not practical, so
Mm-hmm.
like we'll have to like minimize it, like wherever we can combine it, so we can be combined. Suppose example is like logout page. So for
Mm-hmm.
logout, like there is only like logout will be visible in all the pages. So instead of like creating a separate for logout, like we can add it in the home page or somewhere. So it can be like merged.
That means you are saying कि we will create the common we will create a common functionality in a page, single page,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah,
Yes.
that
Yes.
is the way we can go ahead with the multiple pages. Yeah. So
Okay.
and another one thing, do you have idea about the cucumber, right?
Yeah.
Can I question from there? Can I ask?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so let's suppose uh, explain how you handle shared test data between the multiple cucumber scenarios.
For that, we can use scenario outline,
Hmm.
and also like with the help of example keywords. So if we use example keywords, and then like it can run the same scenarios with different set of data. Suppose like we want to test like a login scenario with multiple success. So in like in the given when then like we can define username and password, and in the example we have to define that username and password. Like we can define different username and password so that the test case will repeat for a different set of data.
Okay. So that data you will fetch from the data sheet like Excel or where you have mentioned data, right? Or you will
um,
declare in the while the creating the steps.
like it depends, like it should be like defined while creating the steps in the feature file itself. So in the example like we have to like define it there itself.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it works externally, but like usually in Cucumber we declare it there itself.
Okay. So let's suppose create a Cucumber feature file for a search functionality in a e-commerce application, including steps for the filtering result by category. So how we can perform this thing?
Okay, so we have to like first we have to like so it's like in it's in Jerkin language. We have to create a
Hmm.
feature called maybe like filter feature. So first tag is feature, and then we have to
First of all,
call it
which the tool we will use for the BDD?
like Cucumber.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Cucumber tool. We will. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and like that language is called like Jerkin language, where we first will create a file called maybe like filter dot feature,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the feature name we'll mention filter feature, and scenario we can mention like testing the functionality for feature in e-commerce website, and then given we can mention as given the user is logged in successfully to the e-commerce website, and when we can mention like user is on the when the user is on the product maybe product listing page, and then and if user is like when user is on product listing page and user clicks on filter and enter certain keyword, and then the result will be like the filtered results given by the user should be displayed. And then for this like we have to create a step definition file for all this, and then like we have to create a runner file and run this.
Okay. So, as per your understanding, Selenium is easy, or they are the two things very widely used in the market? Selenium is the most common as well as old in the market, and BDD is the new in the market. So, what is the easy to go ahead or more, kind of stable in term of the stable in a project? So, which one is the best, BDD or Selenium with Java?
Okay. I would prefer Selenium. So
Hmm.
BDD is like used basically for like to collaborate between the BA developers and testing. So basically, like the logical way is like BA should give those that given when then like basically like BA should give those scenarios. But basically, like in practical way, it doesn't work like that. Like even like testers will end up writing, and he will be the one who will be maintaining it. So it is just like adding an extra layer to it. So I'd prefer Selenium because it can be scaled very easily, like compared to Cucumber.
Okay. Are you saying we are BDD or Cucumber? Cucumber is the tool where we are using the BDD, right?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
So, so your conclusion is Java is sorry, Selenium is more stable or old and good to go with the project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, correct.
Okay. Okay. So next, my question is how in a Selenium, how to handle file uploads and downloads using Selenium WebDriver. Do you have idea?
Yeah, so file upload, like there are basically two ways to upload. Like one is the easy way and one is the like little complex. So one we can use a third-party tool called Auto IT or like robot class to upload the files. And there is one more easy way. Like we can use send keys. So first we have to take the XPath like input type, then file type equal to like that the place where we upload, right? Like there we have to take that input file type, like file type as file, and then we can use send keys and give the file name, so it will automatically be uploaded. Like that is the easiest way. And to verify the download, we can create a class with file, like file equal to new file, and there we have to specify the path and the file name. So like we have to specify like the path of it, and if we specify the file name, and then we can use file dot is exist in an if loop. So it will return true or false. If it returns true, we can say the file exists and it's successfully downloaded. If it returns false, we can tell like it's not downloaded. And like this will also return an exception. So we should like use a throws keyword or like put it in a try catch.
Okay, got it. Next question is, what is the fluent bait in Selenium, and when would you use them instead of the explicit bait?
Okay, so the fluent wait is a like kind of wait where we have to wait for a certain element, but like we'll be polling in a certain amount of time. Suppose there is an element which might occur like after 10 seconds or like in multiples of 10 seconds. So that time like we can use fluent wait. So for fluent wait, we have to pass like the maximum timeout, and also like ignoring exceptions, so that will be like find out for, like we have to pass the exceptions as well. So like we'll use the fluent wait whenever there is an element like which occurs in like multiple amount of time.
Hmm.
So what it does is like if you define a polling time, so first we define a maximum time, suppose like 1 minute, and we'll define a polling time like every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds it goes and checks it whether if the element is present or not. If it is present, like then like we can continue. Else like it will continue the polling until the max timeout. So we can use this in any element where it occurs like where it occurs in maybe like with any multiple uh, I'm not sure when we use this.
Okay, fine, no problem. So, in your framework, you use CI/CD, or how you build, run your framework in a local or in a run. First, you run your build or see all the test cases pass or not. How you perform or hold the things your framework. I mean.
Okay, like initially when we are developing script, like we run it in the local,
Hmm.
and we also have like CI/CD pipeline in Azure DevOps, like where we are running different suits. So like the sanity suit it runs every day, and regression suit like we run it weekly once. So like if there is any failures, like we go and like look into it. Like if it is a valid failure, like we'll report that. Like if it is like something flaky or something, then we'll fix those tests.
So, okay, like with the help of the Azure DevOps, you are performing or running your scripts over the wheel with the help
Have
of.
a pipeline. We have created a pipeline there. So
Hmm.
like we like there we get the result in JUnit.
So, let's suppose if I ask you how to integrate Azure DevOps with your automation framework, so how you will perform, how you will set up.
Okay, like first we need to like push our code base to like any of the Git, or maybe like even in Azure DevOps we have a Git,
Hmm.
so we have to have our code base ready there,
Hmm.
and then we can go to Azure DevOps and click on pipeline, and then we have to create a pipeline.
Hmm.
And in pipeline we have to select a machine, so we'll
Hmm.
have like Windows and Ubuntu and Linux. Like we'll not prefer Windows since like it's slow, so like we'll prefer like Linux or Ubuntu. Like once we select the machine, like then we have to select the Java version. So we can select any Java, any latest Java version, or like any. any Java version which we are having in our local. And after that, we have to select, there is an RT, I think there is an job where we can run our Selenium test. So once we select that, we have to select the pom.xml file. So once we select the pom.xml file, we have to set up the results. So there are certain plugins where one is like default JUnit plugin. So we are using JUnit. We just have to specify the path where our result will appear. So in our case, it will be in test output. So test output, then will be star.xml. So then it will pick all the XML file in the default TestNG report, and then we can save the pipeline and run it. So once we run, it will also if there are any screenshot and other things, it will be in the artifact, and also the result will be in the JUnit type.
Okay, okay, let's go ahead. So, are you using Agile in your organization? They are using Agile methodology or normal?
Yeah, it's agile.
Okay, so how many calls or scrums calls in Agile?
So we have a daily stand up every day,
Hmm.
and then we have a sprint retrospective,
Hmm.
and then I think we have one more
In
call.
a retrospective, what kind of discussion in that call?
What went wrong, what could be done well. So that kind of discussion.
मतलब something fight between developers and QAs.
Yeah, something like that. And
Okay.
also there is one more meeting called for sprint planning.
Hmm.
That sprint grooming sessions.
Okay, there are five calls in Agile. First of all, sprint planning, grooming call, internal grooming also depends on the team, and daily stand up is retrospective, and sprint planning also done. Like there are the 4 5 calls in the whole process. Okay, let's suppose if you raise any bug, but developer said to you it is invalid, how you will handle that case?
Okay, first, usually we'll capture the evidence as a screenshot. So then we'll sit with the developer and read the steps to reproduce and try to reproduce in front of them. So once we are so there might be some invalid defect as well, maybe because of some memory issue or some other issues. So we can clearly even we'll have the evidence also, so we can sit with the developer and maybe there might be some confusion, so we can sit with him and get it clarified.
But if any case they will say like कि you have a lack of knowledge in the functionality kind of, so how you will respond or how will handle that?
Then we'll connect with SMEs and check SMEs or BA and check whether the defect which I raised is valid or not. So if they say it's not valid, we can just close the defect, and if they say it is valid, then we can involve them and mention that this is a valid defect and it needs to be fixed.
Okay, so let's suppose if you agile like sprint is and after the sprint next day, like 2 days sprint and then next day sprint starting of the day, your manager told to you ki we found some issue on production, so how we will go ahead in that case?
Okay,
Yeah, some another
suppose.
team inform you ki we found some issue in your functionality which you are working or which you are take care that functionality, so how you will handle that situation or that pressure also?
Okay, so first we'll check whether that defect is caused because of any data setup, or maybe it might be because of invalid data setup or something like that. First we'll verify that. Suppose it's maybe if it is a valid defect, then we'll do the root cause analysis and mention where how exactly we missed this defect. And then once we do that, if it is a valid, then we are humans, right? We make mistakes. we'll like define like what should not be, like how we can take care in future so to avoid these defects. So yeah, like we'll have to do the root cause analysis, and also maybe take some proper ways so that it will not be missed in the future.
So there are some structures ki we define P1, P2, P3 according the functionality break in a protection. So
Mhm.
uh, that case, let's suppose that issue is P1 high priority, and that block the high priority functionality of production. So that case, you how you save yourself ki we will take care test cases, or we will cover an automation, because blocker we can't miss main functionality of the application.
Okay. Like usually, we won't like P1 or P2 defect. Like it will be like usually hard to get on the production. Like it might be because of some deployment issue or something. Because
Correct.
like P1 will be like major blocker.
I was expecting
So
this answer.
uh,
Yeah, sometime the developer test and thumbs up key we can go ahead, and we found some issue like very blocker issues. So due to the uh, build issue, due to the coding issues, due to some unexpected things happen in a build, that's why we found something unexpected on production. Okay, let's go ahead about the few API questions.
okay.
Let me a moment. What are the different type of API testing?
Different type. Like you mean to say like different tools like Postman, like that?
This is the tools, but I'm asking ki how many type we can perform the API testing, like functional, UI kind of.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so there are so many types. We can't consider ki five type or six type. Let's suppose functional testing. The aim of to verify API functions correctly and meet the requirements. And same is the UI testing, load testing, security, validation testing, and penetration testing. So many type of API testing. We can't consider few of things ki we can perform only two-way or three-way API testing.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead. uh, w- uh, Common HTTP methods which we use in API testing. Which methods we
Uh,
use while I perform
what is
API
like
testing?
so mainly we use like four methods like
Hmm.
get, post, put, and delete.
Hmm.
Like there are several other methods like options, but mainly we use these four methods.
And put, could you please let me a little definition where we use post, where we use get or put?
So post method is where like suppose we have to give any input to our to our request. So then we'll use post method. So
Hmm.
it can accept input in the form of like JSON, text file, or anything. And put method is like basically like an update. So if you want to update any post request, then we can make use of put method. For that also like we can pass the body. So get method is like it is only used when you are retrieving the data. So like the body is optional. And delete method, it is used when we have to delete any request. Even the body is optional for the delete.
Okay. And we go with the and why what is the need of the status code in API testing?
To identify which type of error it is. Suppose the 200 and 201, like those are like used for like success status.
Hmm.
So it's basically used to tell us what kind of like if you are getting any error, like what kind of error it is, whether it's a client side, server side, and once it is success, like it's also used to like to tell us the success thing, whether the request is success or not.
Okay, and do you have idea about the 400 error?
Yeah, 400. So it is used to tell like something wrong with the client side.
Hmm.
So it's basically like 404 is like page not found, like 403 is unauthorized, and 401. Yeah, like we
Four.
basically mostly get these two.
400 is about the bad request, like the server cannot or will not process the request. 401 unauthorized. The client must authenticate itself to get the request response. And
Okay,
this under the 400, it's all about the client errors, basically.
okay, okay.
And what about the 300 errors? When we will get that error status?
Mm, 300. I'm not sure.
And 500?
500 is like server side error. Like
Hmm.
503, like server not available. It's all like server side errors.
Okay, yeah, correct. 500 under the server side errors. Okay, one more SQL questions. That is the last one. Then we will go ahead for next. Do you have idea about the SQL, right? Like database or.
Yeah, like I have like very basic idea about that. Like I mean, like we usually like don't integrate. Like we are not integrated with skill. Like I know how to integrate with Selenium,
Hmm.
but yeah, like very less idea about this thing.
If you need to verify some database tickets or any requirement, to how you perform that tickets or requirements, like some of
Uh,
the organization provide the access of the database to QAs. They can verify
yeah,
requirements, or they can verify things whatever they want according to ticket or
yeah.
so that is not happen in your case.
No, like I'm currently in automation, so it's all the tickets I get. It's respect to automation, and like we are not integrated with the database. But I know like basic commands, like very like like basic SQL commands just to manage.
In your case, like let's suppose you got any ticket, so you will implement that requirement, and you will perform or you will run your whatever you implemented, you run that build and see what how the functionality working that way, or you perform some kind of manual also.
No, it's only automation which I'm doing currently. So like it's based on like features. So this build like I get one feature. So like basically like we are one sprint behind.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the feature is developed, and like we pick that feature, and we also have a manual test case with us. Then like we map all our automation test case and with a manual test case. So once everything is done, like some of it can be done, some of it like we'll have some data dependency. We'll have to do data setup and complete it, and some of the things which we cannot automate. So those things we'll mark it as any, and then like we'll close those ticket. It's all automation ticket currently.
So in your case, so in your team, basically you are performing QA responsibilities as well as automation things also. Yeah, QA is separately working, or you are working
No,
separately.
like it's a big team. Like it's around 20 people, and like we have three automation people.
Hmm.
Like it's all completely automation. Like what all they do manual, like we'll just automate it.
So you will get test cases, all requirements from the QA team, then you perform accordingly. Correct?
Yeah. So like suppose we are in sprint three, we'll be automating
Sprint.
sprint two tickets. It's because we need the stable build to get it automated. So
But in that case, we will get conflict. Now, let's suppose we in the sprint. 2, current sprint is 2, and new feature is implement and uh, reach to the production or on the production, then build smoke or any sanity will not fail in that case, because new features already come in a production.
Uh, yeah, because we'll not be automatic because we don't get the stable build. Like currently, it's not in the production right now, so it's like very like highly unstable. So like
Hmm.
we are not touching current sprint items. So suppose like in future once the application becomes stable, then like we'll follow the same sprint, and then like it will be much more like productive to catch the bugs.
Because as per my experience, smoke should be stable as per the management requirement, or that kind of strictness ki, we should smoke should be stable. In that case we have need to maintain all the whole QA process as well as the automation thing. Automation should be complete in the same sprint. It does not matter ki how much we are fully occupied or what kind of pressure while the sprint, because already we are performing the QA things as well as automation thing. So in that case we have need to take care stability of the most probability of the smoke should not fail in any case. If in the evening, in the night, smoke is failed, so someone will call us and say ki please stable that smoke, because smoke is running on the production. If anything broken, anything break in a functionality, that will ask a question why and how, what you perform in a QA side. So that's why I'm asking to you ki you are basically working on the automation or take care all those things. So you say ki only
Like
three.
smoke we have like for main features.
Correctly. Let's suppose any things is baseline or new feature is reached to the production, so that should be implemented in the same sprint or later on. I'm asking that.
Okay.
Okay, it's depend to organization to organization.
Yeah.
Okay. And SQL questions like if I give you one table, so you can find out the highest salary on that table. Do you have idea?
No.
Okay.
Like yeah.
Okay.
Like in it's like very basic. Yeah, I just have to learn that. Like people like started asking SQL question. At least like basic I have to learn.
Okay, no problem. Chill. Okay, fine, Nisha. Thank you so much to giving your